Hi, my name is Vivian, and I'm on this wild journey to start this podcast. This is my very first recording, and for those who know me, you're probably like, what in the world is Vivian trying to do? Well, I'm doing it. And so this is my first recording and my first attempt at hosting a podcast. And I'm hoping that there will be several more. I will summon up the courage and just keep on going. So I'm inviting you ladies to my podcast. By the way, if I had my way, I would probably not call it a podcast. But excuse me. But for the sake of technology and lingo in this day and age that we live in, we'll just say it's a podcast. If I had my way, I would just say, hey girls, let's hang out tonight. Let's hang out today and let's chat. So I'm inviting you to this hangout place called Come Away With Me. I have themed it Come Away With Me because I read the scripture in the Bible one day. It's in Mark chapter 6, where there were so many people around Jesus and his disciples, and these guys, Jesus and the disciples, they couldn't even eat because it was so busy. There were so many people around them, and Jesus invited them. He said to them, come away with me to a quiet place. And I feel like that's what we need in our lives. Our lives are so busy. It's so crazy. Sometimes we have a lot on our plate. Some of us have young children. Some of us have our jobs. Some of us just have a lot of things going on. And I'd like to invite you to come away with me to this hangout place. And we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to really come away to a quiet place. And of course, this isn't quiet. This is just, we're going to unpack what that means to come away to a quiet place and how beneficial that is for all of us, men and women, every individual. It is so important for us to just find a quiet spot in our day, in our week, in our month, at least to come away and just be still. And so many of us may have also gone through so much in our lives. We've perhaps gone through traumatic experiences. Some of us, we don't even know where we're going. And so, it's like life is just getting in the way. And so I have gone through a traumatic experience in my life. It was just the most awful time of my life. And we're going to talk a little more about that. And at that time, I didn't have the expression or the words to say. But now that I'm a little older and I hope a little wiser, I feel like, yeah, if I had that quiet place, it's where I could gather my thoughts, and I could understand the place I'm in. I could understand exactly what's going on in my traumatic life. And so I want us to join in our thoughts, our hearts, our comments. And so for me personally, my quiet place or my come away place is where I soak in the presence of Jesus. And that's where I can be still, and it's like he gives me what I need in my situation, and I can think clearly. We have so many emotions, and sometimes our emotions just goes haywire, and then we can't think clearly. We have to make decisions for our lives almost every day, but when we are so stressed out, we have no clue whether we're making a right decision or not. And so we're going to unpack what it means to come away to a quiet place and a solitary place where we can actually think. And look, my message to you is going to be the one, the way, the truth, and the life. And his name is Jesus. And so there's just no way I can share with you any other way. And so I hope that you will come back to this podcast and we're going to be talking about our emotions and what it does to us, because our emotions can be so much um, within us that our mental state is also, chaotic. Our inner self, that deep part of ourselves where we really need to be, stable. But all these emotions, our mental state is affected by that. And so we're going to talk a lot more about how to become stable in our mental state. So, full disclosure, guys, I am not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist. I'm just somebody who had gone through many traumatic experiences in my life. And why I'm talking to you is now that I have overcome, I'm just thinking and feeling so many women out there who are struggling today in many different capacities. And my heart just goes out to so many of you. And I would like to be that connection for you, if you will, to lead you to that quiet place where Jesus invites you and he says, "Come away with me, my child. Come away with me to a solitary place." And so my heart goes out to women who are struggling today. And I speak to so many women every week, and I just realize, wow, deep down inside of you, you are not settled. Deep down in your core, there's a battle going on. Deep down in your core, you are struggling so much, and you don't even know what is right and what is wrong. You don't even know how to make decisions. You don't know because your emotions are so high and there are several emotions going on, and we're going to talk about that later as well. But I just wanted to introduce myself to you, and I'm hoping we can have a connection here, and I'm hoping we can chat because I don't want you to walk this road alone. I remember, so I'll tell you this for now. I went through an abusive relationship. My ex-husband abused me for many years. And yes, many people ask, why didn't you get out? Or what did you do that he did that to you? So we're going to talk about all those things. But the one thing that I am remembering right now as we speak is that I couldn't tell anybody what was going on behind closed doors. I was this, together person. I had a good job. I got married late. And so, but I was already like, established. I had my own home. I had my own car. I had a good job. I even, traveled. And so, and then I got married. And I didn't know that was going to happen to me, but it happened. And because of my personality, I would say, or where I was at the time, I just was not going to tell anybody because I am not going to have the shame on me. I would struggle in that shame all by myself behind closed doors, and it was exhausting. It was terribly exhausting. I was tired every day. Somebody one time, and many years later, I met somebody and they said, "Vivian, it's good to see you. You look," he didn't quite know what to say. And he said, "You look so healthy." He said, "You look healthy." And I'm like, wow, yeah, because I probably looked terrible and very unhealthy. And of course, at that time, I had already overcome. But the point I'm trying to make is we can get rid of all that struggles and not on our own. Okay, Jesus is the way, he's the truth, he's the life. He will lead us, and He is the light unto our path and a lamp unto our feet. He will give us direction. But we sometimes, as girls, we think we can fight these battles by ourselves. And so that's what I did. And I looked sick. Somebody clearly thought I looked sick. But we going to unpack what's in our core, what is deep down inside of us, and why are we struggling year in, year out? You know, and then some of us, we have children, and we have to be strong for our children, but sometimes we are so unstable we can't take care of our children. And some of us, we make decisions, and hey, we're going to be talking about relationships, we're going to talk about guys, because they are an integral part of our lives. So we're going to include them because many of our issues sometimes are not just what is inside of us, but it's because of the relationships that we choose to have, okay? And so there's no judgment here in this hangout place, okay? There's no judgment. I've been there, I've done that. I've judged myself. That's okay for me. I have judged myself. I have told myself many times, Vivian, how did you get here? So I had to go deep down inside. I had to find what was the core reason that I ended up here. And you know, when I talk to people, to girls especially, and I find that they go through struggles year in, year out, and that same old, I'm like, okay, no, come on now. We can't be same old. We need to get out of that same old. There are too many new things for us to experience. And so we're going to unpack those. And so when I find women go through things year in, year out, I start to tell them, okay, you got to ask yourself some questions. And you know, you don't have to answer it to me. I can help you with the questions, because sometimes when we in such a mental state, we're so mentally impaired. Sometimes we don't even realize it. We're just struggling, but we don't know where it's coming from. But it's in here and it's in here. And so I would say to them, listen, you got to ask yourself questions. Ask yourself the tough questions. Ask yourself, how did I get here? Ask yourself the personal questions, but you know what you have to do? You have to answer it honestly. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with why you're here, because you know what? You don't want to be exhausted anymore. You want to look healthy. You want to be healthy. Because you know what? We are created for God's pleasure. He finds pleasure in seeing his girls healthy, but we don't go to him. Sometimes we don't, because we struggle and we think we can do it because, hey, we have power. We have a lot of power as girls, but you know, we can also be manipulative. And so we're going to talk about that because, hey, girls, these are real things. We know how to manipulate. We know we have power, but sometimes we're not using it effectively. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do, so this, like I said, is my first rodeo here with this podcast or our hangout place. I'm going to do a 15-minute talk because I'm thinking I'm talking so long already, and it's 13 minutes already. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. So we're going to do 15 minutes per podcast, 15 minutes per chat, okay? And we're going to unpack quickly, not quickly, thoroughly though, of what's going on in our lives. Because you know what, us girls, we have similar things. We do have similar things, but we don't respond to things similarly. The emotions are the same, the hurts, the pains, the struggle is the same, but we don't respond the same way. And so, and that's okay, because our makeup is different. We are not all, created the same way with who we are, our personalities, our characteristics, and as well as our upbringing. Our upbringing, hey, has a lot to do with where we are today. And we have to unpack that. Sometimes we know these things, but we don't know how to address it. Okay, so we're going to look back into our childhood, and you know what, it's okay to do that, because we want to be healthy, we want to be good, and we want to be good for our children, because you know what? We are the examples to our children. So that's it for my first episode, episode one, right? So, like I said, guys, I am not a therapist, I am not a psychologist. And if you are going through a very difficult time, my information will be in my bio. And if you are feeling that you can't make it and you think this is it, I don't want to see tomorrow, you need to find a specialist, okay? And if you don't know how to go about that, please contact me, all right? I will answer as best I can every comment. Now, guys, don't be rude in your comments. I'm just a simple girl next door, and I'm not here for the money. I'm just here because my heart goes out to so many women, to girls, to ladies who are struggling. And I just don't want you to struggle anymore. We will always have trouble, but we don't have to struggle, because you know God gives us all the tools we need to carry on for every day. And sometimes we forget that we have those tools. And so until next time, we'll talk some more. Again, ladies, if you feel you are in a specific deep dark place, please find a specialist, a professional who can help you through this. If you don't want to go to a specialist, please reach out to somebody. I'm here now. Add me to your list. You can contact me anytime, and I'm happy to talk to you. So until next time, I'll see you at our hangout place at Come Away With Me. Bye-bye.